Beetle Enclosure Setup, Part 1. This vlog contains a video of shrink-wrap pig's feet, which are normally fed to dogs. It also discusses some insects that are involved in decomposition. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you an update on how it's going with setting up the beetle enclosures. So a couple days ago I went up to the Botanic Gardens and got the tank set up. So today I'm just going to go up and make a few modifications, make sure that things are ready for Saturday when I bring the beetles in and get them situated. So come along and I'll show you what I'm up to. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is go into the department and check and see if my pig trotters have come in, the starter food that I'm giving the beetles to help them expand their colony while they're up in the Botanic Gardens for a couple of weeks before I actually start the experiments. So a lot of people are on strike today, so I don't know if they'll be in the offices, so we'll see, but I'm going to attempt to pick up that parcel and take it up to the gardens. Okay, they were here. I've got the pig trotters, and let me just show you. It's this box. It's a little bit heavy. I'm going to get some exercise today carrying it, and yeah, I'm just excited to take this up. So now I'm going to carry these up, and I'll meet you up there at the gardens. Okay, just catching my breath a bit. Whew. So that's the main entrance to the Botanic Gardens. I'm gonna go a little further down the road that way to where I'm gonna go in to the greenhouse. Now I'm inside, not inside the greenhouse yet, but inside the Botanic Gardens. So I'm just gonna do a quick tour back here in case you want to see the compost piles. There we go, some horse manure in there. So if I need to clean up some grass, I can dump it in there. The greenhouse is down there. Alright, so this is just a quick tour of the greenhouse. This is where I'm going to set up my beetle tanks. No one's in here, so I'm just going to do a quick spin. So they take care of plants in here. You can see some cactuses over there, some algae, I believe, that they're trying to grow. Alright, this is the table with the beetle tanks under those boxes. Those boxes are going to serve a purpose. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that I brought up today. So this is some wire, fine mesh wire that I'm going to attach to the lids. The lids have mesh on them. I want another layer that's a little bit finer to give it just a little bit more protection from the bug, trying to keep the bugs from escaping, and also trying to keep other bugs out that I don't want in the tanks. So that's in here. I'll unwrap that in a second. I brought this little box so that there's a container next to the tanks that has some equipment in it. I actually still need to label it so they know this is dermestid stuff. And in here, so I've got this little thermohygrometer. So I originally ordered some fancy thermostats to go in here and some reptile mats. I'm hanging on to those for a bit, might return them. I had the department order those. I might get humidistat instead. We'll see, a couple humidistats. So anyway, I got this myself, so I'm gonna try sticking this in there and see how that works for today. Got some equipment here, scissors. So in here I've got a couple different hand sanitizers. So this one's a spray, they can spray surfaces with that. This is a tiny little one. I'll try to, at some point, pick up a little bit bigger bottle with a pump on it. I've got some smaller pieces of wire in case I need those instead of the big roll. I'll get into this in a second. I've got a tart, a little $1 tart from Tesco. In case for some reason I need that. Bugs could probably chew through that if it was like directly in the tank, but could be something if I need to cover the outside of the tank or something like that. I brought some masks. I'll be processing my samples at a location on campus and then using the space in the Botanic Gardens just for the beetles. So for that reason, there are some differences in the equipment that I need while I'm up at the Botanic Gardens versus when I'm down on campus preparing specimens. They'll fit me with a mask and they'll fit me with some gloves that I can wear while I'm working with the samples, just because the frass gets very dusty. I'll be pulling bones out of the frass. Frass is the waste material that the beetles leave behind. This includes their poop as well as material that they shed while they're going through their life cycle phases. While I'm up here, I won't be doing a lot, but I might need to occasionally dump some frass out into the compost piles outside. And so, anyways, I've got some masks in case I need them. Got a little sack or a little bundle of bags there. There's a crowd in the other room. And then I've got some tape. So this is aluminum tape. So I'll show you in a minute where that goes. So this stuff will stay in here. I'm going to pull this out. But then I'm also going to modify these boxes over here and put some holes in them so that we can get some ventilation in. And yeah, the boxy pig trotters. Here's what we're doing here. So this is just kind of the extra stuff. So these are, I can stand here. These are my tanks. So, yeah, let me give you a closer look at the tanks. So here we go. This is kind of the minimum size that was recommended to me by my colleague at Tring, the Natural History Museum in Tring. So these are 10-gallon tanks each. The recommendation I was given was between 30 and 40 liters. I've got 2 of them. My idea is that I'm going to run different experiments in each tank. I need a couple weeks actually to let the colony numbers build up before I can actually start doing experiments. I'm going to make some modifications to these tanks. So I'm going to add an extra layer of mesh to each of these lids. Let's take a look at what we have in here. Okay, so I'll take this off. So I've got cotton balls. So this cotton wool stuff is going to be the substrate for the beetles, so that's what they like to go into, kind of hang out and pupate. By substrate, I mean bedding that goes in the bottom of a tank. This is common for other kinds of animals, such as reptiles and small mammals that are kept as pets. The reason I bring this up is because in a previous video I discussed substrates in relation to trace fossils. In this case, this is simply bedding that goes in the bottom of the tank, whereas the substrate, if you will, that I want the insects to leave traces in will be the bones left over from material that they are defleshing. And I'll probably at some point get some egg cartons. So over here in this tank you can see some egg cartons used for the crickets that they have here that they feed their reptiles over in the public section. So yeah, so we've got these. Got some spray bottles, but there's some water up here in case things get a little dry. Given how humid it is in this room, I don't think stuff is going to dry out. I think there's going to be more of a concern with it maybe being too humid in the tank, so we'll see. Because the idea is I don't want things to get moldy while I'm working in here. Mold is toxic to the beetles, and it will kill them. Let me tell you, I think the first thing I want to do is use this tape to modify the tanks. So now let me tell you what the purpose of this silver tape is. So I saw a hobbyist online discuss putting this inside their tanks, and they had gotten the suggestion from somebody else that they knew. I'm gonna try it out. So the idea, so you can see here on the edges of this tank, there's this silicone that the sealant that holds the sides of the tanks together. So that's, you know, on all four corners here, you've got this sealant. The glass is nice and slippery, but the sealant on the side is grippy. So the beetles can actually kind of lazily climb up this and get out of the tank. I have seen some people suggest, for example, cutting this down. This aluminum tape is slippery, and so it makes it more difficult for them to climb up. Let me give you an idea of the tank. So yeah, so we don't want stuff climbing out. So we're putting all kinds of precautions in. It's a glass tank. Yeah, we also don't want to use plastic or acrylic
long term
because they can the beetles can actually chew through plastic. They will do that. Another decision I made selecting these tanks was getting this on the side. This is plastic, first of all, and it's got little holes in it. So I'm going to see what I can do to modify this a little bit. So I'll probably put some of that silver tape around the outside edges of this and make it difficult for the bugs to actually get to this. And I also thought about maybe making like a little mesh cage to tape over top of this. The purpose of this is so that I can stick a thermometer on the outside of the tank and have the probes for the thermometer actually thread through here. That's the basic setup there with the tank. All right, I'm going to now make some modifications to the tank. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start outside the tank here and just so difficult to peel. There we go. There we go. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Try not to have it peel on itself. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to cover this part with some tape. I'm thinking that this tape job around the plastic in the second tank won't be necessary because I came up with something else to cover these plastic openings in both tanks. So I do want you to see that I do clean up after myself now. Leave stuff how we found it. Okay, I'm going to attempt to make a little cage to go around that little plastic bit on the inside. I think this will work. Actually, let me take a look at the fine mesh. Okay, I'm just unwrapping this. There we go. Ooh. This is like, I am not staying coiled on that anymore. Oh. Okay, here we go. I think this one's going to be a little bit sturdier, but I can put this over it as well. So let me see how big I need this to be. So I think I will cut this down. Okay, cool. Use this to gather up metal clip-ins. It's in the bag, which is good. And what I'll do is I'll stick some more of that aluminum tape around the edges. I experimented with it last night as I was modifying the little carrier that I'm going to bring the beetles in, and added some of this mesh to it. And that, the aluminum tape actually works really well for covering these edges, making them not so sharp. So it's great. I'll cut it down a little bit more. Just that way. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do with this is put it over like this. I'll tape it across the top, I'll tape it on the sides, and then I'll have a little opening at the bottom for the probes to come out. Now the bottom's kind of the tricky part because that's where they can climb up there, but let's see, maybe I can rotate things around. Probes will go in on the side here actually. Oh yeah, what I'll do is I'll leave a little opening on the side here. Yeah, so I'm going to tape it like that. So this part will go against the cage this way, or against the tank this way. So I have a surface to grip on. A little bit on the top, tape a bit on the bottom, tape around the edges, and then just leave a little space for the probes to come out. So here we go. So I just bend it on the table. Like this. Okay, so I'm going to measure it like that and cut it here. I think what I want to do before I fold this over is get some of the fine mesh cut out for this as well. Didn't think that through. Since I've got the tape on this side, I'll just kind of wind this up like this. So the fine mesh is behind, and I'm just going to fold this over. Just like that. Yeah, for real, like no more pokies. Works. I think I'll show you when I'm finished, but yeah, basically I'm going to do that all the way around the edges. There's the fine mesh on the back that I need to. Just for process sake, I wanted you to see that I put tape around all the edges first before sticking it in the tank so that everything goes in nice and smoothly. Okay, didn't quite finish the lockup for the day, so I will finish putting the mesh on the top of the tank lids when I come on Saturday. So I'm going to stick that in there. Look at that. The insides are looking good. Put these boxes over top. Yeah, and here's the pig feet for anyone who was wondering. So I'm going to feed these to my beetles when I get them to get them started. So there's a bunch in here, so it should last them a while. And yeah. It is just gorgeous out here. Look at the clouds. I love northern England. Beautiful. Before I forget, I also wanted to mention that this really nice lady on campus who works in the archaeology department helped me on Tuesday to actually take my tanks up to the Botanic Gardens. She loaded my parcels into her car and drove them up the hill from campus. And I met her up there at the gardens. Because it is about a 10 or 15 minute walk from campus up to the gardens. So I didn't want to ask her to do it again with the pig trotters that came in yesterday in a separate shipment, because she'd already helped me with something on Tuesday. And I didn't want to ask her to do it again, and especially since I wasn't sure exactly what time I was going to be up there. And it was one parcel. I'm not going to say her name just because I didn't ask permission. That was such a lifesaver, and it means so much because I don't have a car down here at Durham, and it's just one of those things where it made things so much simpler. I just wanted to say thank you and give a shout out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hang tight for part 2 as I get the beetle tank set up. Bye guys!